Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Know-How is brought to you by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of Know-How is brought to you by SmartThings. SmartThings lets you control and monitor your home from anywhere in the world using your smartphone. To get started, visit smartthings.com/twit and you'll save 10% off any home security or solution kit when you use the code TWIT10 at checkout. And by iFixit. You can fix it, and iFixit makes it easy with free step-by-step repair guides, high-quality replacement parts, and all the tools you'll ever need. For $10 off your purchase of $50 or more, go to iFixit.com/twit and enter the code KNOWHOW at checkout. On this episode of Know-How, probes, drones, we teach you how to put power into your LiPo packs without killing yourself. Oh, and your feedback and a way to download YouTube videos that can't be blocked. Know-How, it's the Twitch show where we build, bend, break, and upgrade. I'm Father Robert Ballecer.
And I'm Brian Burnett.
And for the next 45 to 50 minutes, depending on how much we talk, we're going to show you some of the projects that we've been geeking out to for the last week or so.
That's right. And, you know, these are some pretty cool stories that just came out this week.
They are.
And this first one has been 10 years in the making, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, I mean, we don't wait 10 years. We don't wait 10 minutes.
Right.
And you know, when you think about the distances involved and how much travel there's been done, the landing of the Rosetta Stone mission with the Philae probe onto the Comet 67P, it's amazing. It's 310 million miles away from Earth. It had to travel 6.4 billion miles just to get there. And as you said, it's been 10 years in the making.
Right. And so I was thinking about what I was doing 10 years ago, and I was playing Halo 2.
So as you were pretending that you were going to the stars, they were actually going to the stars.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, it's just, I mean, this is the sort of science, this deep space science that just really gets me going because you're talking about 310 million miles away.
Right.
So this is like playing a claw game from 310 million miles away.
With technology that we had 10 years ago, and then that was before all the things that took to plan up to that point.
Exactly, and the Earth is moving, and the comet is moving, and the probe is moving in relative velocities to the two. And all the math to just get it in the neighborhood is mind-boggling. And the fact that they were able to take a probe that was about the size of a washing machine, weighs 222 pounds, and land it on this thing, it really is, I mean, I never thought this would happen.
It's pretty cool. I mean, just the idea of orbiting this mass in space is kind of crazy because it's moving and the gravity changes as it goes along. And even when it landed onto the comet, it had to like harpoon itself down onto the surface.
Right, which is cool, interesting, because the harpoon system actually didn't work. It didn't fire.
What?
So it kind of, remember, this thing's got no thruster, so it has no way to slow itself down. It's got no way to push itself back to the comet. So it kind of bounced a little bit and then settled back down. It's not actually secured to the comet because they can't get the harpoon system to fire.
Oh man!
So now they're worried about, well, they've got a drill that they want to start up, but they're like, well, is that going to force
shoot
it away
off
from
the comet? Yeah.
So they're going to spend the next at least 60 or so days, because that's how long the batteries. 67 hours at least, getting scientific data from the comet. The problem they're having right now is where it landed, it's kind of in the shadow of a peak.
Oh.
So it's not getting any power on its solar cells. So it's running on battery power right now.
Oh, no.
Which could be bad, but at the same time, just the fact that they got it there, big props to the ESA.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. And the idea of, I mean, we've been playing with the drones and everything, and when they go a certain distance, you lose like the signal and everything. The idea that they're sending signals out to this and like, okay, what's happening now?
It's like, is it a 27-minute trip
Yeah.
So at the speed of light, it takes 27 minutes for it to get a signal, and then 27 minutes to get back. So that's
crazy.
Actually, iBookery in the chat room is saying, "Oh, it broke its parking brake." So someone should just slip some blocks under the rear wheel. So
Let's just send another satellite up, and in 10 years it'll be able to help it out.
Like AAA, right? Yeah. The issue is that the comet's not really big enough to have any speakable gravity. So once you start drifting from it, you're not going to stop. I mean, you're at escape velocity almost immediately.
Yeah.
So that's why they're going to do all of the passive science. They've got a gas chromatographer, so they can actually do spectrum analysis of any of the gases that are lingering near the comet surface. They've got a way to detect magnetic fields, so they're going to find out whether or not a comet has any magnetic field to speak of. They've got a way to look at temperature, so they can see temperature and density throughout the area in which the probe is. So I think there's going to be a lot of interesting science that will confirm things that we've been speculating about for years.
Well, yeah, just the fact that they're able to get it there is, you know, mind-blowing in itself. But the idea that comets, we're still trying to figure out, did life originate from comets coming and landing, hitting Earth, and what other kind of materials can be found on them? So just the comet itself and what it's made up of is pretty fascinating.
It really is. It really is. Speaking of things that are fascinating, it's been weird. There's been a lot of drone news recently. There was that drone that can deliver an AED, the defibrillator, so that you know someone's having a heart attack. Drone flies out, drops it down, because the first 5 to 8 minutes is key. If you can't get that to the patient within that time frame, you start seeing some serious brain damage. So, oh yeah, a drone could cut through all the traffic, land. You've got the AED, put the paddles on, boom, restart the heart. There was also a drone that delivered life preservers, which I thought that was cool.
Idea. Because the most dangerous thing is if you're trying to save someone who's drowning, is that person could pull you down with them. You know?
Right, and so the old way was you had a lifeguard with a surfboard or some sort of flotation device. They'd swim out there and put the victim on it. Well, this is a lot easier and a lot faster. The lifeguard has a drone next to him, and it can drop up to 3 life preservers. So you just fly it over them and boop, boop. All right, see you back at the beach.
Don't worry, I'm here to save you. Take the life preserver.
Why do you hate me, creator? No, but DJI just got back into the fray. Now you know what? I'm going to give credit where credit is due. DJI was really the first company that could mass produce a reasonably priced drone that almost everybody could fly, that could actually do something useful.
Right, and we had one until we destroyed it.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Well, the range between drones, I think what was the DJI price at, like $1,000?
Yeah, when it started, it was about $1,000. That's dropped down to about $500. They've got the one that I really like, the new Phantom, the Phantom 2, that has the integrated 1080p camera.
Right, with the stabilizer.
That thing is beautiful.
And this is the brand new one.
This is the new hotness. This is the DJI Inspire. Now, it's a ready-to-fly drone with a 4K camera. It's got GPS features, so you could navigate it and then say, hold station. It records 4K, 60 megabits per second. It can record in Adobe RAW. It's got a 90-degree wide-angle lens, 18 minutes of flight time or so. And you're going to like this, because I know you've complained about how in a lot of drone videos you see like the landing skips.
That was the biggest complaint I had about the other DJI that we had.
Right, but if you look at this, it's got variable geometry. The arms holding the motors can actually pivot up and away, so that when you're recording the video, you can do 360 around the drone and it will never see the motors.
That is so cool.
It is pretty cool indeed.
I kind of feel like the design, they grabbed some people from Valve and it looks like something from Portal.
That's the first thing I saw. I'm like, is that Gladys?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that thing gonna test me? What are we doing? Very cool, and you know, the stuff that I've seen from DJI, it's very high quality. It's very nice. And you know what? It really is simple enough for someone who has never flown a drone to fly around a little bit and then get the hang of it within a week or so.
Yeah.
One issue.
What's that?
Price.
Price?
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit more expensive than the last one. Yeah. Is it around about $5 grand?
No, 3,000. Yeah, I mean, you can equip it up to $5 grand if you really wanted to.
Oh, then we'll get like 4 of them.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone have Leo's credit card?
Yeah, I wish.
She's probably in the chat room, right? Leo, can we have your credit card? Oh. Wow.
Can we use it?
Sorry about that. This is something I hope DJI sends one for us to play with. I actually, the big thing about the DJI drones, because I mean, I'm taking them apart right now. I'm fixing the Phantom that we've got. they're not using anything that's different from what we're doing. Their big advantage right now is software. They've done a lot of software development for getting that flight controller to work properly for a camera.
Right.
And the gyro-stabilized platform that they have for their cameras is fantastic. It's really
really smooth.
It's so smooth. If you remember back a couple of episodes ago, right after CES, I showed a flight, or sorry, after NAB, I showed a flight that I did with a Phantom 2 over Las Vegas.
Yeah, that looked amazing.
It looked like a crane shot.
Yeah.
It looked like it was hanging off of a solid structure. And you know, the copter was vibrating. Those are all vibrating,
right.
but the gimbal was able to take out those vibrations. The one on this drone is even better. So I mean, yes.
Yeah. I think the other advantage they have is it's a complete package, and if you want to get something that has around the same quality, the next step up is like 10, 12 grand for the octocopter with a DSLR attached to it and stuff. So.
Well, I mean, that's one of the weird things. This is actually going to be cutting in to one of DJI's most lucrative sales. They've got an octocopter that they do sell,
right,
which is twice the price of this. And that doesn't include a camera. That includes a mount for a DSLR, or like a 4K RED camera.
Yeah.
The fact that they're making this self-contained, in other words, I need to buy nothing else. I buy the kit, I charge it, I put the battery in, I fly it, and I hit record.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are cool and automatic, maybe we should take some time right now to talk about the first sponsor of Know How.
Yeah, and home automation.
Home automation. Yeah, now it's all the rage. We've actually been wanting to do a couple of episodes on home automation. One of the issues that we've had, though, is that there are so many different vendors from home automation products that you don't want to get stuck in one if maybe the light switch you want is from another, or the appliance control you want is from there, or maybe the thermometer and the temperature settings and the camera are going to be from third and fourth parties. You really want a single system that can control everything, and that's why.
Smart Things.
Smart Things.
But it's one of those things you don't, once you plug it in, you don't want to have to worry about.
You don't want to have to worry about it, and that's what Smart Things does. If you could be my Vanna White and show off the Smart Things hub. Now, here's the idea. You've got this central hub, this central device that allows you to communicate with pretty much everything that might control and monitor your home. And you can do this from anywhere in the world using your smartphones. Now, some of the cool things that you can do with Smart Things are get notifications if someone you don't know tries to enter your home, or get instant alerts to prevent a small leak from causing a major flood. You get to control and automate your lights and small appliances from wherever you are, and you can stay connected to your family by getting those notifications when people come and go. Now, Smart Things helps protect valuable items in secure areas that are off limits, and it does this all by seeing through its various sensors. With the Smart Things app, you can easily see what's happening in every room and with all of your connected devices. It's like having your home in the palm of your hand. The Smart Things app is free, and it's available for iOS, for Android, and Windows Phone. And the really great thing about Smart Things is that the possibilities are endless. Smart Things' family of smart sensors and outlets work with hundreds of popular connected devices, including offerings from Logitech, Dropcam, Nest, Sonos, and the Philips Hue, so you're not going to be locked into any single vendor. Smart Things will talk with them all. Now, if you're a developer, you can also create new ways to use Smart Things and then publish them for everyone to use. Talk about the Internet of Things. This could be the gateway to the Internet of Things in your home. Now, here's what we want you to do. We want you to try out Smart Things. We want you to see if you'll love it as much as we do. To get started creating your smart home, visit smartthings.com/twit. And you'll save 10% off any home security or solution kit by entering the code TWIT10 at checkout. For fans of TWIT, solution kits start at just $170, and home security kits start at $350. Each kit includes a Smart Things hub with everything you need to turn your home into a smart home in as little as 15 minutes. You'll also get free shipping within the United States. That's smartthings.com/twit. And remember to enter the code TWIT10 at checkout. And we thank Smart Things for their support of Know How.
Yes, yes.
All right, now let's get into some feedback. We've actually got some really, really good feedback from our users, and we want to answer a couple of their questions. This first one, if you go ahead and roll the video, this comes from Joycelyn E. from Valejo, California. She says, "Dear No-Holers, I'm starting to do reviews on YouTube, and I need help with the audio for the voiceovers. I'm using a USB headset, but I get a lot of echoes and breath sounds. I'm happy with my camera and lighting, but I need to get my audio sorted, and I've only got about $300 to spend. Can you suggest a solution?"
Oh, can we?
Can we? That's what we do.
Right? And Leo has pointed out, if your audio is not good, nobody's going to care about your video.
Yeah,
so.
you know, that's the thing. 90% of our interest still comes from our audio listeners. You can have great, crystal clear video, but if you've got scratchy or plosive audio, it just turns people off.
Yeah, it actually makes the video feel worse.
It really, and that's the sad part. I mean, if you've got great content, but your audio is subpar, you've basically sabotaged yourself.
Well, fortunately, it looks like you have a few suggestions here.
I got a couple. I got a couple.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working in a budget, Joycelyn. I understand that. So I'm gonna give you the first solution, which would be within your budget, and then I'm gonna give you something that maybe, if you can find a little extra cash, you might want to get. You have really identified a couple things. 1, budget. 2, bad audio. 3, echoes. Those are 3 separate things that you have to contend with. Now, the budget thing is easy because we just choose parts that are within your budget.
Right.
The tinniness, the audio quality, and the echo, those can be a little
more difficult
to get rid of. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to get a decent microphone. I know you think that your USB headset is great. It's really not. I mean, you use those.
Or the worst is the Apple headphones.
Yeah, just don't do that. I mean, it's fine for a conversation over Skype, but if you're recording it and you want people to listen to your voice, you need something that's going to bring out the tones in your voice.
And that bassy bottom.
The bassy bottom. And you also need something that's not going to add a bunch of extra noise. You may notice with, like, especially USB noise canceling headsets, they add in a whine, just a low-level hum below everything. This is no good. This is a great solution. Right here, this is an Audio-Technica AT2020 USB Plus. It's a condenser microphone, so it's got really nice reproduction. Not as big a bottom as some dynamic microphones, but it's really clean, so you can add in a little bass if you need to later on. It's got a USB interface, so this will plug straight into your Mac or your PC or even your Linux PC and allow you to have a nice, clean interface. One of the worst things that you can do, and you've seen people do this before, plug in their iPhone headphones into the audio jack on the computer.
Yeah.
That's horrible, right?
Not a good idea.
No, it's
especially if they fidget at all, or they're gesticulating. And it's like,
stop moving. Right, and this will give you nice sound isolation. Now, don't just buy the microphone. You actually need something to hold the microphone. So what I would suggest is this. This is a stand. This is just a stand I bought off of Amazon. I believe they call this one the adjustable desk stand. It's about 13 bucks. The mic's about $170. This is a Nady Shockmount, which is nice because it means any vibrations from the table are not going to translate into the microphone. It actually holds the mic in this little spiderweb lattice of bungee cords. We use something like this on the TD desk.
That's nice to have, especially when people if they're typing on their keyboard.
Yeah.
So many times I've heard the
yeah, it just translates right through. And then the Nady also comes with this pop filter, which will get rid of those plosive P's that you're having anytime you're recording voiceover. There is another thing that I'd like to do. Some people don't like this, but when you are speaking into your microphone, this is a side address, so I'm going to be speaking like this. A lot of people will speak directly into the microphone. You can do that if you have really good breath control. If you don't have good breath control, what you can do is just take it to the side a little bit. Now, you want the side address to still be pointing at your face, at your mouth. But if you put it off to the side, especially if you have a pop filter, it's going to dramatically decrease the amount of breath sounds you get.
Cool. And then you have another one here? Or?
Yeah. Well, actually, one more part. And if you bring up the link for this, Alex, to get rid of the echo, especially if you're in like a hard concrete room, this is not magic, but it does work wonders if you're trying to do like a sound booth. You can get these 10 packs or 12 packs of acoustic foam. The idea is you don't want the sound reflecting directly back into your microphone because you'll get echoes from walls. If you layer enough of that on the area where you're going to be doing your voiceover, it will kill some of the echoes. The other thing that will kill the echoes is that this is a really good mic at rejecting sounds from the rear.
Right.
So yeah, that's one thing.
And
now,
I was just going to say, if you order the foam, because I remember when you did that, don't be alarmed if it's really compact because after about a day, it comes back into shape.
Right, yeah, it expands, kind of like me. Now, this entire solution is going to run you about $245. If you don't need the foam, it's going to be about $205. So that's well within your $300 budget. Now, let me show you something that's not within your $300 budget. That would be something like this. This is the microphone that we love here at the studio. It's got a huge, big bottom, which means it's going to bring out the bass in your voice which is great for voiceover. This is a Heil PR40. This microphone is sort of the gold standard for those who are in internet broadcasting. It's just nice sounding. It's a dynamic microphone, does not require shadow power, but you will notice that it has an XLR output. So you're going to need something to go from XLR to the USB on your computer. This is the Shure X2U. This is what I swear by. Again, it's nice because it will work on condenser mics or dynamic mics. It's very clean and it's crazy adjustable. So if you want a lot of control over how you sound, this is the way to do it. You also need a stand, and you're going to need a pop filter. So I mean, these are nice and cheap. This one comes off of Amazon. I think this one was like $7 or something like that. It just goes right over the front, and it'll stop those plosive P's from hitting. Now, here's the problem. This is actually what I would prefer, because this has such great sound rejection that you could probably get away without having the acoustic foam.
You just have to make sure it's very directional, so you have to make sure you're talking to it.
Right. We have a problem with guests sometimes when they'll like do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, it won't pick you up your voice. You have to be right here.
Which is great when, if you don't want any background noise to get in, but if you're not speaking into it, it doesn't work that way.
One problem, the mic itself is over your budget. This is about a $330 mic. Now, you could get a kit that includes the mic and a carrying case and the stand and a cable that will help you with the cost a little bit, but you're still going to need to get a pop filter. You're still going to need to get the X2U USB adapter, which is close to $100.
I think Bob makes a Bluetooth adapter that you can use also, which is pretty handy.
Which is pretty handy. So you're talking about $430 to $470 for that solution. Now, I know that's over your $300 budget, but if in any way, shape, or form you could get another $100, I would take the PR40 over the 2020 USB. Now, if you can't do that, if you really are stuck at the $300 price level, this is actually a fantastic solution. But for the problems that you're having, specifically the echo, nothing beats a PR40.
Cool. Well, those are some handy tips.
Yeah. That's for our audio thing. Now we have one more piece of feedback.
Ah, yes, that's right. From Fred. And he asked, can anyone recommend an SSD drive for a Lenovo Y560p? I was also trying to determine if I could have both the drives. So you recommend Kingston HyperX.
Yeah, well, I always like to give a range. So I'm big on the Kingstons. I love the Kingstons. It's what we've got in the gaming PC. It's what I've got in my personal PC, the laptops. They're fast. I've found them very durable. I've never lost a Kingston drive. I stay away from all the budget stuff. And that's not just Kingston, that's everybody. The budget stuff is kind of crap.
Well, once you've had a taste of the good stuff, it's hard to go back.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like buying laptops. People buy a $300 laptop and then they wonder why it's not as good as a $2,000 laptop. It's like, well, because it's a $300 laptop. If you buy a $60 SSD, yeah, you're going to run into issues with it. But if you get a decent SSD, Intel, Kingston, Samsung all make fantastic SSDs. And in fact, the Samsung one would be the 840 Pro. Now, you can get a 240 gigabyte Kingston HyperX 3K for about $140. You could get the comparable Samsung for about $180, which is why I like Kingston, because it tends to be a bit better on the price-performance ratio. But you had a specific question, and that is, you want to be able to keep both drives. I'm assuming that you want to keep your rotating drive, but maybe you want to replace something to get an SSD in there as well, which luckily we have a way to do that. That's right, with an optical HDD caddy. Yeah, exactly. Now, we covered this on Know-How a while back, probably like episode 70-some. It was way back there. A very easy way for you to do this. Now, on your computer, you've got something like this. This is an optical drive. I checked out the specs for that Lenovo. It does have an optical drive that can be removed. Now, the cool thing about this is you can remove the header from the optical drive
and put it on the caddy
and attach it to the caddy.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, that will keep the nice slender lines of your laptop, but what it will allow you to do is it will allow you to take out your hard drive, put it in the caddy, take your new SSD, put it where the hard drive was. That means that you're going to boot off of the SSD, and you're going to have your hard drive where your optical drive used to be for the extra space. Now, this does mean that you're not going to have an optical drive in your computer anymore. Some people are not going to like that. Personally, I don't care.
There's not a lot of things I've missed about not having an optical drive anymore.
Yeah, and you can buy an interface for your old optical drive, the one you pull out of your computer, for about 12 bucks. Yeah. That will give this a USB interface, so you can just plug it into your computer when you need it. I mean, when you consider what you do, what are you going to need on your laptop more? More space or an optical drive?
More space.
More space, yeah. But well, it's personal. It's personal.
Well, I guess then you could always swap it out when you need to, if you're planning on bringing a bunch of DVDs with you somewhere.
Right. I don't know if this is true on the Lenovo, but on a lot of laptops, the optical drive is held in by a single screw. So if you remove that screw, you can actually pull out the caddy or the optical drive and then slide what you need back in.
Just don't put your OS on it, I guess.
You can't, because it won't work.
Right.
But don't hot swap it. So it's not hot swappable. You shut it down and then switch over. But it is SATA, which means it will auto detect when it boots up.
Pretty cool. I would prefer having an extra hard drive for myself, definitely. Yeah. Especially an SSD.
I'm a big fan of that. Yeah. Now, when we come back, we are going to be talking a little bit about, I don't know, a way to download videos off of YouTube that they can't block. We've been running into this, right? They keep blocking our favorite tools.
They're trying, but we'll always find a way around it.
Without further ado, hit that button. In the last segment, we went all egghead to explain how LiPo packs work and how to intelligently choose voltage, capacity, and weight. This time, we're climbing down from the Ivy Tower to show you how to charge them without blowing yourself up. When we did Project Lunchbox using NiCad and nickel metal hydride battery packs, the charging and discharging process was relatively straightforward. Plug in the charger, plug battery into charger, rock out. LiPo packs take a little more thought and effort because of their unique chemistry and construction. Remember that they're balanced, so the charger can monitor the state of charge or SOC of each cell. That gives you a safer, higher capacity, and longer living pack. But to do this, we need a balanced charger. We chose an IMAX B6 LiPo balanced charger, probably a clone, mostly because it was less than $20. This unit is almost identical to all Turnigy-style chargers in its design and operation, so the following procedure should work for your budget unit. The first step is to power on your charger. Many of the less expensive chargers don't have an AC adapter, but they'll run on any DC power source between 11 and 18 volts as long as it provides enough amps. If you have an old ATX power supply, you can easily turn it into a high-quality 12-volt power source with more than enough amps using the tip I gave in episode 78 of Know How. The first time you power on, you'll see a screen that says Program Select. This allows you to select what type of battery you'll be charging. Use the increment and decrement keys to scroll to LiPo and hit Start. The screen will change and display battery chemistry, mode, charge rate, and voltage. Use the increment and decrement keys to scroll through the available modes. You should see Charge, Balance, Fast Charge, Storage, and Discharge. Select Balance and hit Start. The charge rate should now start flashing. This is where you select how fast you want to charge your LiPo pack. The higher the amperage, the faster the charge, but it's not as simple as turning the charger to 11. You need to know the safe charging rate of your pack. That number isn't usually on the label, so you have to find it in the specs. Our Turnigy 2200 LiPo pack is rated for a max charge rate of 4C, while our 1000 mAh pack is rated for 2C. Using the same formula that we used to find the maximum discharge rate in the last segment, we know that the 2200 has a max charge rate of 2.2 amps times 4C, or 8.8 amps. And our 1000 has a max charge rate of 1 amp times 2C, or 2 amps. The charge rate will affect the time it takes to charge a pack. For example, a 1C charge might take 45 to 60 minutes, 2C 35 to 45 minutes, 3C 15 to 20 minutes, 4C 10 to 15 minutes, and a 5C charge 5 to 10 minutes. The natural tendency is to choose the faster charge rate so that we can get back in the air. But slower charges typically mean a longer lifespan for your pack and cells that have an SOC that are better matched, which leads to better performance. Personally, since I keep a number of packs in spare, I prefer to charge at 1C to maximize my pack life. Using the increment and decrement keys, set the charger to your preferred charge rate, then hit Start. The pack type will start to flash. As we learned in the last segment, the serially connected cells determine the voltage of the pack, and this is the only metric that your charger needs. Make sure to get this right, because undervolting or overvolting can seriously damage your battery, your charger, your stuff, your house, your neighbors, your puppy, your cat, the space-time continuum, and, of course, you.
While we're on the subject of not dying, make sure you have a decent LiPo battery safety bag. These pouches are designed to protect LiPo packs and contain a runaway reaction. You can also use a clay pot filled with sand to increase your safety margin. Once you have the right charge voltage, hit start, and the screen should now display all your chosen values. Give it a glance to make sure that everything is set properly. Now, let's connect the battery to the charger. Your charger should have come with a series of leads. Look for the one with a banana plug on one end and a Dean's plug on the other. This is the charging lead. Connect it to the charger output via the two banana plug sockets marked as positive and negative. The red lead goes into the positive, the black into the negative. Now find the lead that has a Dean's plug on one side and the appropriate connector for your battery on the other. This is the adapter lead. Connect the adapter lead to the charging lead, then connect your battery's discharge plug to the adapter lead. Make sure to do it in this order. Even smaller LiPo packs have enough current to kill you. If you connect the battery to the adapter and charging leads before you connect the charging leads to the output on the charger, you risk shorting the banana plugs with enough power to weld them together and cause an out-of-control reaction that will probably set the pack on fire. Now, connect the bouncing leads to the proper socket on the charger. Make sure all your connections are properly seated, then long press the start button. The charger will check the battery pack and give you a report on what it detects. R refers to what the charger has detected, while S refers to what you have selected. If the report matches what you selected, then you can press start again and the charging cycle will begin with the parameters that you gave the charger. The display will show how long the charge cycle has been running, and a counter will tell you how many milliamp hours have been supplied to the battery pack. While charging, you can use the increment and decrement keys to switch to a display of the current voltage in each individual cell in your pack, the targeted end voltage, the safety cutoffs, and other parameters. Full is when the SoC gets to 4.2 volts. Once the cells have reached their target voltage, the charger should alert you to the end of the charge cycle and automatically stop supplying power to the pack. Your LiPo pack is now ready to use.
Now, proper battery charging is absolutely vital if you're going to be doing any sort of...
Thanks for putting the fear of battery in me.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of fun because more likely than not, you're not going to have an event. But if you do, you want to be prepared.
True.
You do got a witch's brew of chemistry inside these plastic bags. So you got to treat them with respect.
Right. And the fact that you're strapping them to a device that's going to be flying around and could possibly run into a building, you know, or something, pierce the battery.
I actually already had that happen to me with one pack. It was a 1,000 milliamp pack. It was a hard impact on that 250 series. And I had taken the landing skiffs off. And so most of the impact went into the battery pack. It looked fine, and I had it disassembled, and about 30 minutes later, it actually started smoking.
Ooh.
Now, luckily, it was mostly discharged, so there wasn't a lot of power in there to feed the flames.
Right.
But it was a little scary, thinking, you know, imagine if you had finished flying and you had thrown everything into the trunk of your car and you're driving down the freeway and suddenly there's smoke pouring out of the back of your car.
Jeez, yeah.
So, you know, treat these with respect. And the first part is to make sure that you're going to charge them properly.
Yeah, yeah. And if you see one starting to deform,
well, that's the weirdest thing. I've seen people who they've got a pack that's like puffed up.
It's got a bulge, but it's fine.
It's still supplying power. I'm like, yeah, it's going to supply power until you die.
Yeah.
So don't risk it. Now there are tutorials on YouTube about taking like, oh well, if you have a pack, it's got 3 cells, and if only one is puffed up, you could desolder it and put in a new. You could do that.
You could, yeah.
Don't. It's not
Or you could,
worth
yeah,
it.
and then have an office fire like that poor guy did.
Well, I mean, and also remember, there's a lot of power in these things. There's a lot of discharge, especially if you've got one of the larger packs. You don't really want to be messing around with that unless you have some sort of background with, you know, being an electrician or an EE major.
Right.
So play it safe.
Treat them with respect.
Treat them with respect.
Take care of them.
Take care of them, and more of all, just have a really good understanding of what they can and cannot do.
Yeah. Like most things, just take your precautions and, you know, play it safe. But they're not inherently just dangerous.
They're not dangerous, yeah. But again, I wouldn't hold a bunch of them in your pocket. It's just, you know, use common sense.
I just like to carry them around.
Now, I do want to give our audience a little bit of a takeaway because we've been doing piece by piece. This is the batteries and the battery charger. If you go ahead and go to that first link there, Alex, this is what I would suggest if you're just starting to build like a 250 class trainer. This is what I would consider a training pack. This is the Turnigy 3S1P 2200 milliamp hour 25 to 35C LiPo pack. This is a nice pack. It's nice and light. It's not that expensive. It'll cost you about $9 to $10.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. And this will give you 15 to 20 minutes of flight, depending on how you fly your 250. Now, the reason why I call that a training pack is because it does supply a decent amount of discharge current, but it's not a racing pack. It's a little bit heavy. It's been optimized for flight time, not for speed. Once you start to get a little bit of skill, go ahead and go to that second link, Alex. This is what I would consider a racing pack. This is a tiny little pack, about the size of my 1,000 milliamp hour battery here. But this will provide you 1,400 milliamp hour, and it will provide you 40 to 80 C of discharge. In other words, it can give all of its power in a huge, massive burst.
Wow.
Which, if you're racing quads, this
what you want.
This is what you want. That's going to run you, somewhere in the vicinity of $14 to $18, but based on where you're going to buy it. But yeah, you've got a range of batteries you can choose from. And then you can charge them with just, this. This is a $20 LiPo charger that I found on Amazon. You can get them for about, $20 on eBay as well. This is probably a clone, but it works just fine. There's some people in the chat room who are saying, oh, well, why can't they just make these simple? They do have super simple chargers that you just plug in and it goes. Those tend to be a bit more expensive, and they don't give you the fine control. What I like about this, and I talked a little bit about this in the video, I can choose to charge it at a rate that's very low. The no muss, no fuss chargers, they charge at one rate. Or maybe like a selectable between 1 and 3 different rates, like 1 amp, 2 amp, 3 amp. I can go all the way down to 0.1 amps and just trickle charge my batteries when I really want them at their peak. Because remember, the idea is to match the state of charge of all the cells in the pack.
And what kind of lifespan do you think a lot of these have?
It's a typical lithium-ion, lithium poly life cycle. So you're looking at like what is it, 1,000 charges on the outside?
Okay.
But for people who are flying, you're probably going to damage it before it hits the end of its life cycle.
Okay.
And just keep around it. If it starts puffing up, you've damaged it. Dispose of it properly.
Yeah, would you take it to like a recycling center or something like that?
Yes, yeah. Those are hard to find, but they're worth it. Please don't just throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is it's going to end up in a trash compactor somewhere, and some poor soul is going to have a LiPo explode in his face. That's not good.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
But speaking of things that we don't do, you know what we don't do, Brian?
Break things and then not take them apart?
Exactly. Every time we break something here on the show, we have to take it apart. And if we take it apart, we want to take it apart properly, right?
Right, so we can fix it.
So we can fix it, and that's why we've got iFixit on the show as a second sponsor of this episode of Know-How. Now, what is iFixit? There's a lot of people who think iFixit is just, a company that sells us tools. Well, yeah, they do. They sell us tools, but it's way more than that. iFixit is a repository of knowledge for people who want to know how to do DIY or maker projects. Now, Vanna White, if you go ahead and open up the brand new iFixit ProTech Toolkit, this is what we've got. This is the hotness that's currently in the Twit Brick House. You see, iFixit.com is a free online repair manual for everything. It's not just these wonderful tools. You can fix it, and iFixit makes it easy with more than 10,000 repair guides for everything from electronics like your smartphone, your tablet, your game console, your home appliances, your clothing, even your bike. They also have foolproof instructions to fix all your stuff. So if you've ever shattered your iPhone screen, need to repair the red ring of death on your Xbox, or swap the battery on your Galaxy S3, iFixit has got it covered with parts, tools, and repair guides. iFixit also makes the most trusted repair tools for consumer electronics, including this. This is the ProTech Toolkit. This is their new and improved version. Now, it's got 70 tools to assist you with any mod, malfunction, or misfortune that comes your way. The toolkit is the gold standard for electronics work, from garage hackers to the CIA and FBI. But more importantly, their unique tools are used by repair technicians everywhere, including here in the Twit Brick House. Now, this includes iFixit's 54-bit driver kit with 54 standard, specialty, and security bits. That includes Phillips bits, Pentalo bits, of course, there's straight bits, and Torx security bits for things like computers, game consoles, and controllers. The Tri-Wing bit, the very hard-to-find ones for video game consoles, and the triangular bit, which McDonald's uses for their toys. So if you've ever wanted to hack a Happy Meal, this is how you're going to do it. It's also got a swivel top precision driver to get in those hard to reach places and a flex extension that will let you get into those tight corners. They give you an ESD safe precision tweezer set for delicate manipulation. They give you an anti-static wrist strap to keep your devices safe from accidental static discharge, nylon spudgers, metal spudgers, and plastic opening tools for prying and scraping. It's lightweight, it's compact, and it's got this durable tool roll that makes it usable for on the go. Now, it's only $64.95, and it's backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know it's going to be quality because, well, they're going to replace it if you break it. Hobbyists and home DIY fixers alike use this ProTech toolkit for doorknobs, eyeglasses, cabinet doors, sink fixtures, and more. If you're looking for a great addition to your artist or hobbyist toolkit, folks, look no further. Best of all, there are thousands of free iFixit guides to put your tools to use. Now, this actually is my favorite part. This is a magnetic pad. This is what we use whenever we're disassembling something. It gives you a way to label individual quadrants so that you can put the little gadgets and gizmos and then give yourself a note as to where they go. If you've ever disassembled something and then you've got a couple of extra screws at the end, this is what you need to make sure that you're not going to get a broken device when what you should be doing is reveling in your DIY greatness. Now, with iFixit, you can fix it yourself, and iFixit can help. Visit iFixit.com/twit for more than 10,000 free step-by-step guides. iFixit also sells every part and tool that you'll ever need. Enter the code KNOWHOW at checkout, and you'll save $10 off any purchase or $50 or more. That's iFixit.com/twit. iFixit.com/twit. And we thank iFixit for their support of Know-How. Brian, I want to get to one last quick bit here.
Okay.
Now, we have been doing a lot of segments on downloading videos for YouTube. And
yes.
most of them have centered around YouTube Center, which is a great, well, was a great tool.
Right.
It was for Chrome, it was for Firefox, it was for Opera. The idea is just to give you a little extra button for downloading in any format that you wanted.
Right.
Problem is, Google ain't big on that. And so,
and I can understand why, but for my purposes, I want to be able to download the videos.
Their reason is they don't want you to be able to skip ads, and they also don't want you to be able to just blatantly steal content.
Right.
So I understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you just play this cat and mouse game, it just means that they have to update the tool every time you change something to break the interface so that it doesn't work anymore. And that's what's been happening. A lot of people get into this thing of, well, I'll just download the next version, and the next version, and the next version.
Yeah, and what ends up happening is we do a show about how to do it, and then someone comes back and tells us a couple weeks later, like, I tried this, can you tell me another way? It's like,
so,
well, we can.
I thought, hey, how about this? Why don't we show folks a different way of getting YouTube videos that it's not as easy as just clicking, but it's a lot harder for YouTube to block, because rather than taking advantage of the YouTube interface, it's actually looking at where the stream is coming from. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. If you go ahead and go over to my computer, the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the video that you want to download. So this is on YouTube right now. This is our review of the Swan Quad Force video drone. There is a URL right here. This is, of course, you know, well, actually, let me just increase the size of my screen. We just get this URL, www.youtube.com, and then it's got that funky combination of letters and numbers that determines my URL. This is not actually the video. That won't get you to the video. What that gets you to is the landing page, the wrapper that YouTube has put around the video so that they can put things like ads and pre-roll and post-roll and the little pop-ups. We can actually use this to get access to the actual video that YouTube is streaming underneath the wrapper.
Okay.
The way we're going to do that is we're going to use VLC. So you need to download VLC. You're going to find this. This is the Video LAN client. This is probably the best thing ever to have on your computer. And
I love this program just to have it.
Yeah, right?
Not for downloading YouTube videos.
It plays everything.
Yeah.
If VLC doesn't play it, it probably is
something
busted.
wrong with it.
Yeah, it's busted. They've got it for Windows. They've got it for OS X. They've got it for Linux. They've got it for GNU. They've got it for FreeBSD, Android, iOS. So you're going to find a version that works for your device. Once you've got VLC downloaded, what you want to do is you want to go into Media. Go ahead and zoom in on this and make it a little easier for them to see. Media, you want to go ahead and open Network Stream. When we click that, this box is going to pop up. Go ahead and post in the URL that you just copied from the browser. So this will get me to that video, our review of the Swan Quad Force quadcopter. I hit play, it's going to bring up VLC, and VLC is going to go there, and it's now playing the YouTube video. It's pulling it from YouTube.
Right.
What I can do, this is the fun part. I just go ahead and drop over to Tools, go down to Codec Information. It's going to pop up this window. This right here, this super long URL, that's the direct path to the actual video. There's no layers on top of that. There's no wrapper. No, YouTube has added nothing to this. Now, this is really long, so what you want to do is right-click this field, select all, and then we're going to copy it. Now, what we've done is we've given ourselves a way to get the pure video without anything else that YouTube is doing to it. So I'm going to open up a new browser. I'm going to paste in what I just put, and look how long this URL is.
Whoa.
I mean, it's a monster URL. Yeah, you wouldn't want to manually copy that thing down.
Holy.
But if I go, this is now the raw video. There's nothing attached to this. And here's something that you can't do with YouTube. I can right-click the video and save it as. And now I'm going to go ahead and save this to my desktop. And what's happening right now is it's actually being downloaded like any other download that you would do over the internet to my desktop. And when this is done, I will have a copy of the pure source, unadulterated. So what the user uploaded, that's what I'm going to get.
And this will be the, will this automatically be the top quality, like the highest resolution that they uploaded?
Yes, it should be. Yeah, because again, remember,
it's the source video.
This is source video. Yeah. So this is the video upon which all YouTube services are based. If you get the source video, then you've got what they uploaded, which is nice. It's going to take a while to download this. We're at what, half of the speed, but it's going to download it in that MP4 version, which now means I can do anything I want with it.
Right, and I mean, I can see this being really handy for someone who knows they're going into an area where they're not going to be able to go on YouTube, but they want to be able to bring their videos with them. So, you know, just download it and be able to put it on your phone. Right. You know?
We've got Web5289 saying, "Oh my God, that's got to be the worst way to download YouTube ever, just to use Video Downloader." We just talked about this. The problem with using any of those programs is that when YouTube changes the interface, even a little bit, it breaks all of those plugins. You got to get the next version of the plugin.
Right.
They can't break this. Unless they change their naming scheme for getting the raw video, this is always going to work. Right. Now, Google could obfuscate some of the URLs to make it more difficult for you to do it, but you know, it's too much of a pain for them to do that.
Right.
It's very easy for them to change one element in the interface that breaks every single plugin.
Just keeps happening.
Which just keeps happening.
So this might seem roundabout, but you know it's going to work.
It's going to work
reliably.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're also going to get the raw, unadulterated version of the video, which a lot of people really want.
I do like that.
Because a lot of those download codecs will like give you the low quality version.
Right.
One caveat. What you'll find is a lot of videos, especially like the crappy vertical video ones, are using weird codecs. So
when you download the source file, it's that
it won't
codec?
play. Yeah, it'll download in that codec. Now, it will play on VLC,
yeah.
But if you're planning on using it in like Final Cut or Premiere, you're going to have to convert it first, which luckily you could do in VLC. We're going to show that to you in a future episode.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like
so there you have it.
Yeah.
Not so easy as using a plugin, but I find that the end result's better. It's more complicated, but you know, it's going to work every time.
Well, that's also why we make it so much easier for people to download our videos beyond just going on YouTube.
Yeah, we're going to have all the links for this and the step-by-step. I'm actually giving you step-by-step instructions on how to make this work. It's going to be in the show notes, so don't forget to go there. In fact, why don't you tell them where the show notes are?
twit.tv/KH, and not just the show notes, but all our prior episodes, so you can keep up with those. And links to subscribe to the video, so you don't have to go on YouTube and do a roundabout way of downloading it. You can just do it straight from our site.
Although you can do that if you really want to.
If you want to, it's fine.
We give you the high quality version, but I mean, if you want to download from YouTube, I don't care.
Any way you want it.
Any way you want it.
That's the way you need it.
That's the way you need it. I feel like I should be singing that.
It's in my head now.
Thanks a lot, man. Don't forget, we also have a G+ community. You can find us at gplus.to/twit.kh, or just go in the Google Plus and search for Know How. It's a huge community, very active group of folks who like to do DIY and maker projects. So if you join, you'll be able to ask questions, and you'll be able to, more importantly, answer questions about things that are in your expertise. And you may notice that we pull from that group a lot whenever we do the show.
I've more recently, I've had to set aside more time to look at it because once I get into the community, it's like it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
and
oh,
that's a great question.
Wow, look at that.
And then I'm like, oh, I can totally answer that. Oh, someone beat me to it. All right. And
you know, I have a technique for that. I just pretend like no one else has answered it.
You just write it in anyway?
There's some of those guys who are so fast. It's like a question goes up and 2 seconds later they've responded. I'm like, damn it, I want to answer that.
I was wondering why you kept posting. I was like, Padre, they already answered that.
Was answered 8 hours ago. I'm like, I don't care. I'll do it anyways. Don't forget, you can also find us on Twitter.
That's right.
You'll find me at twitter.com/PadreSJ. That's at PadreSJ.
And I am at cranky_hippo.
Yeah.
And you don't just have to follow us.
Nope.
You can follow one of the men behind the scenes that makes this all happen.
In fact, I'd say he is the man behind the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Alex Scopel, he's our TD. You know, Alex, I'm just wondering, do you have an example of what people might find at your Twitter feed at twitter.com?
So, Brian, you mentioned 10 years ago you were probably playing Heil too.
Oh, no,
so,
I should not have brought that up.
You might find something like that.
Wow.
Please don't follow us on Twitter.
You looked a little stony.
I was Joe Cool. No, the flash was really bright. What are you talking about? I was really excited for Halo 2.
Wow.
And
on that bombshell,
bright lights.
So don't forget to follow Alex at ANELF3.
Don't, because you don't want to see any more of those pictures. No, sure I don't. Yes. I've unfollowed him now.
Yes, please do. Until next time, I'm Father Robert Balaser.
And I'm Brian Burnett.
Now that you know how,
go do it. God, that picture.
That's a great picture.
That's why you show some of the ones of you from 10 years ago.
Oh no.
You think that
You just been drone bombed.
Can't be stopped.
That's a pretty one.
You painted it. This is the Salvador Dali plot. This is Castro. Oh, he's getting so good at this. Oh!